Hello, and welcome to the McTaggart Attack Podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart. I'm a stand-up comedian who lives in Vermont. I've been called the angriest comic in Vermont, which if you go to Vermont or live in Vermont, you know that's not hard. It's not a hard title to accomplish. But yeah, my podcast is my way to give my thoughts on things, rant about some stuff, test some stuff out that I may do in some form or a capacity on stage someday. So you can see me do a refined version of this on stage someday. So you're watching the magic happen, possibly, or it's just going to be me complaining about some stupid shit that always seems to piss me off, or some thoughts that's on my mind and I don't feel like driving to an open mic. So I resort to the podcast, and maybe if you find it entertaining, that's great. Maybe if you don't, that's great too. Well, it's not great, it actually sucks. What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, let's get to the contacts. You can reach me via email. The email address is mctaggartattack@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at KevMcT. That's the first three letters of my first name and the first three letters of my last name. Not too fucking hard. I'm actually quite pleased that that Twitter handle was available for me to get on Twitter. Ha! That way, if someone ever more famous than me has Kev McT as a middle name and wants this Twitter handle, he or she is going to have to pay me lots of money. Woo! Because I'm all about those Benjamins. Sort of. Yeah. And I really shouldn't have said that. I don't know why I did. Just popped into my head and I'm like, alright, saying it. I said it. So there we go. I do multiple episodes a week. It depends on the week. I think I'll be doing 4 this week, so there. I did one episode I definitely do each week is What's Pissing You Off Wednesday, when I rant about stuff on other people's behalf. But this is not What's Pissing You Off Wednesday. This is just another episode, and I'm going to be talking about something in this episode. Do I know what it is? Maybe. Do I not know what it is? Who fucking knows? I wanted to talk about this. And I think it's an issue that a lot of people deal with, to be honest. And I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about what I've done with it, or how it's affected me, and what I'm doing to improve upon my situation. I want to talk about how I worry too much. I worry about a lot of things. But I think one big category, one big type of worry that I worry about is probably the fact that I worry too much about what other people think. a lot of my choices that I make in life are based on, you know, are based on what I think people will think of me if I do something. Like, oh, what if I wear this shirt today? What will people think of me if I wear this? What will people think of me if I wear that? What will people think of me if I do this? What will people think of me if I do that? What will people think of me if I say this? What will people think of me if I say that? I live my entire fucking life doing this. And I always do things based on like other people's opinions, or I worry too much. I worry so much about what other people think of me that I base decisions on it. Like whenever, like I consult other people for decisions, for my decisions. Like I will ask people, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Like, or like for years, I wanted to do stand-up comedy. And for years I would ask people, hey, I'm thinking of doing stand-up comedy. And people tell me, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, no, it's hard. You shouldn't do that. No, it's hard. No, it's hard. You shouldn't do that. And for years, for decades, I didn't do that. Because I listened to those stupid-ass motherfuckers. Until like 5 years ago when I decided to stop listening to those stupid-ass motherfuckers and do stand-up comedy. It was the best fucking decision of my life. All my life I've been crippled by what? By being afraid of what other people will think. I still do that. I'm still afraid of what other people think. I'm still afraid to say something or do something and be afraid of the response or the action or what will happen if I do something. When deep down I want to do it, but I'm afraid to do it because people are just, because I'm just so fucking afraid of what people will fucking think of me. That's a terrible way to live. It's a terrible way to live. But yeah, it's something that I realized, or I've always known. I've always been afraid of that, and I forget how it first happened for me. But like, actually, what it was it was a book I read a few years ago called 10% Happier, where like he would worry about what people thought and stuff like that, by a guy named Dan Harris. He wrote that book, and he'd constantly think about what other people were saying about him in his head, when in fact it was just him saying it to himself. But like, yeah, I just, it was even before that. I forget what exactly. Something just sort of clicked in my head. I just had to stop being afraid of what people think. I've always been afraid of what people think. And I've always been afraid to do things because I'm afraid of what they want to do. I need to do what I want to do and not care, not necessarily about the consequences, but just do what I think is right and stop caring about what other people think. And I do that now, and it has helped. I listened to this audiobook from Jen Sincero saying that you are a badass, and that it's her You Are a Badass books. I think I talked about them a couple weeks ago on a Trivial Nonsense Friday. But it just reiterated to me how I've been aware of my problem of being afraid of what people think, and this just it let me know that I need to like stop listening to certain people, or just not be afraid, and just not 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 care about what people think of me if I do something. Because what's the point of never doing it? You know? What's, like, if I never do something and I didn't do it because I was afraid of what other people think, then I'm more of a failure if I actually did it and tried it. It's better to do it and try it than it is to never try it because you were afraid of what people think you would do if you did it. And that's one thing I got from those Jen Sincero books, is like you have to listen to yourself. You have to do what you want. Like, you know what you want to do. Like, I know what I want to do. Or maybe I do. I'm pretty sure I do. But I mean, if the point is though that like from now on, I'm gonna work harder at when I'm thinking about whether I want to do something. I'm not gonna consult other people first, because I always do that, and then people more than likely talk me out of it, and that is so ridiculous. Because then I regretted not doing it. Why? Because I listened to people. And all I'm going to do is live my life buried by the opinions of others for the rest of my fucking life. And I'm so goddamn tired of living life that way. No matter what I do in life from now on, I'm just sick and tired of letting other people's opinions like dictate what I do. And it's just been something that has, I said, crippled me my entire life. I've gone around, I've always like gone around doing stuff. Like, I'll walk around the mall. I will walk around the mall and I will think about what the people are thinking about me as I'm walking through the mall. Strangers thinking about me who they don't even probably even fucking notice me, let alone thinking about me. You know? Because I'm always thinking about how it used to bother me a lot, like walking around in malls or public places and just live in fear, walking in fear, being around in fear of what people will think of me, constantly being ridiculed or something like that. And I know it probably stems from being like picked on as a kid, but still it was just always that constant need to like fit in to the main culture, and not the state of main culture, just main culture. And I've always just wanted to fit in, and I've realized in the past couple of years that who gives a fuck if you fit in? I'm already in. I can do whatever the fuck I want, as long as it's, legal, of course. But still, it's just so fucking stupid. I'm just so fucking sick of living my life in fear of what other people think about me and stuff like that. Like, if I want to come out to somebody and tell them I'm gay, first of all, why the fuck do I even have to do that? It shouldn't be a thing. Secondly, but it's just, if someone hates me because I come out to them, then good. Good. If someone doesn't want to talk to me anymore because of my sexual preference, then I probably didn't want to talk to them anymore either. You know? What other stuff do I fucking worry about? Worry about what people think of what clothes I wear, what I'll say. I'm afraid of what people will think for what I fucking say or do. Or I'm just afraid to say something. I'm afraid people will just yell at me for being wrong. And I'm just tired of like living my life like this. And like I've gotten better in recent years, but I want to get even more better at like not really caring, having the confidence in my own decisions instead of consulting everyone else. Because anytime I would make a decision, I would like ask people their opinion on what to do. And a lot of times people would talk me out of it. And I fucking regret that. Like recently I've been thinking about some stuff. Like I applied for a job and I thought, well, maybe I should talk to somebody first before I do this. Like I thought I would talk to a friend of mine. And then I thought, well, this friend usually talks me out of every fucking thing that I ever try to fucking do. So why, if I want to do this, then I should do it. If it's in my head to do it, then I think I should follow that. I should follow my instincts. That's another thing that this book tells you, that You Are a Badass book. There's 2 books I should point out, but it's follow your instincts. If you think you should do something, then you should go ahead and do it. If you think all the signs are there and the universe is trying to tell you something, then the universe is trying to fucking tell you something. I'm just tired of like being afraid of what people think. That's all. I'm not saying I'm 100% cured of this terrible fear, which is probably called anxiety, I think, which I was not aware. I was not aware that the fear of what people think was actually like anxiety. One other thing I got from this book I think that was good was that like, that I liked was the fear of the past is, being afraid of what happened is depression, and being afraid of what's going to happen is anxiety. I've experienced both. Because you're depressed that I didn't do anything. Or I'm afraid that I'm going to do something. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And I'm just tired of living my life in this constant state of fear of what's going to happen or what I should do. But because most of the time I know what I want to do. And I'm just tired of asking people for advice on what to do when I already know what the fuck I want to do. I can't be afraid of what I'm going to do. Like right now, like there was a guy walking around picking flowers or some shit. And I looked at him and like, oh man, I should stop talking about that. No, fuck that. I don't care if he's hearing me, because you know what? He probably doesn't even fucking notice me anyway. And he walked away, so it's fine. But it feels really good to just get this the fuck off my chest. This fear of what other people think. I'm afraid of what other people think. Will probably be the title of this podcast episode. In fact, that's what the title will be, because that's what my gut fucking tells me. Because a lot of times, you know what I do? I change the title of my podcast because I'm afraid of what people would think if I put certain titles as that. But I'm going to stop being afraid of people. I've already tried to do this. Is like, I'm naming these podcast titles whatever the fuck I want. And I don't care. I'm not going to base it on, I'm tired of like asking people for opinions on how I should do something. I mean, I already know what I want to fucking do. And I'm going to fucking do it. And I don't fucking care what the fuck you think. It's like, another thing is like, I brought up the idea of like practicing material or ranting about stuff that I couldn't get to an open mic. And like, someone told me that, no, I don't think you should try it that way. But you know what? That's what I want to do. That's what I want this podcast to sort of be sometimes. Me ranting about shit that I can do into my podcast. And like, you can enjoy it, and then you can come see me on stage and do a polished version of it or some stupid fucking crap like that. I'm just full fucking done of like being like held back by other people. It's so fucking ridiculous, and I'm just goddamn sick of it. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking.